Hey guys, it's been a little bit, huh? I decided to switch the focus of my channel into something different. I hope you guys enjoy this type of content. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you guys want to see more content like this. Alright, let's get right into it. In 2014, there was an interview with Agile Numa where he talked about the evolution of the Legend of Zelda series. At the end of the interview, we got a clip of a lone character on a horse in the middle of a field. Then they fight a big mechanical spider thingy, and then that was just the end of the interview. The lone character shoots what looks like to be a mechanical arrow. Then it pans to white. 2015. Then we proceeded to get absolutely nothing about the game for 2 years, except for that the game has been delayed. In 2016, during E3, Nintendo revealed one game and one game only, and that game was announced 2+ years ago. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
3 decades ago, the first Zelda game changed the way millions of people thought about video games. And this week, you'll discover a game that could change that thinking again. Here's the first look at what awaits.
On March 3rd, 2017, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild releases. Nintendo's new console, the Nintendo Switch, also released that day. We got some Zelda games over the years. The most notable releases were Skyward Sword in 2011 and A Link Between Worlds in 2013. There was another Zelda game that came out in 2015, but we don't really talk about that one. The expectations were pretty high after the previous titles got mixed reception from fans. I wonder how it did. I think it did alright. The game starts with Link being told to wake his lazy ass up and get to saving Hyrule. So he grabs the magical phone, heads outside, and then looks at a funny looking castle. He then picks up a stick and then proceeds to jump off the cliff, falling to his death, ultimately failing the kingdom and the princess as he leaves him to die by the hand of Ganon. The tutorial is the whole Great Plateau, and the Great Plateau is huge. Like a couple of years ago, all the open world games would have an open world that's the size of the Great Plateau. The size is absolutely crazy. Like, it's incredibly huge. I'm still astonished by it to this day. If I see something in the super far distance, I can actually walk over there and then die to some random enemy because I have nothing but a wooden sword and a wooden shield. To be honest, the entire kingdom's future is relying on the stupidest guy. He's probably good with a sword, but he probably chucks it at the enemy instead of swinging it. You can kind of just wander around and do whatever you want. You're supposed to go to Kakariko Village and then Hatinoa Village, and then go do the 4 Divine Beasts, and then go to Hyrule Castle and save the princess and defeat Calamity Ganon. But instead, you can just ignore all of that and just mess around in a super dark forest, a giant volcano that actively tries to kill you, or a desert where you would definitely get lost, and then gobbled up by a giant sand snake thingy. One of the other main objectives of Breath of the Wild is completing shrines. Shrines are like the dungeons of this game. They're where the puzzles are in the game, and they vary from using the Sheikah runes that you get from the beginning shrines, and you can use them to manipulate objects to get to the end of the shrine where you can get a spirit orb, which you can then exchange at a statue of Hylia for an extra heart or an extra little bar of stamina. One little side objective that you can do, if you want to torture yourself by doing this, is collecting all of the Korok seeds. It is the absolute worst goddamn thing in this game. The Korok seeds are used to get more slots for your weapons, bows, and shields, so you can carry more stuff. Do you want to know how many Korok seeds there are in the game? Come on, I'll let you in on a little secret. 900. In what universe is collecting 900 seeds an alright thing to do in a video game? After 5+ years of playing this game, I still have not collected all 900 Korok seeds because I simply just don't want to collect any of them. If I stopped writing this script and recording all of this footage and go out and collect all 900 of those Korok seeds, this video would never come out. And I've been working on this video since April. Also, fun fact, when you collect all 900, you get a shiny piece of turd. You also can't even use all 900 of them. After fully upgrading all of your inventory slots, you are left with 459 seeds left, as only 441 are needed. What's the point? The possibilities are endless, and honestly, you can do as much of the story or as little of it as you want. Who's gonna stop you? Zelda? She's stuck in the castle, trying to hold off the incarnation of destruction itself, just so you can mess around and find funny ways to kill yourself and just see your body a ragdoll everywhere. Once you finally decide to do the story, to be honest, it's quite lackluster. For the sole reason of, the game wasn't really made for the story. It was made purely for the gameplay. If you wanted to play a game with story as its main focus, rather than gameplay, then just play Skyward Sword instead. The story is there, and is very to the point. There isn't much substance. As I said, the game is more focused on gameplay rather than the story. There is, however, a lot of lore in this version of Hyrule, but it is super tucked away and very much out of the way. The story starts out with you waking up, doing the 4 trials, going to Kakariko Village, then Hateno Village, then freeing the 4 Divine Beasts, then finally going to take on Calamity Ganon. Pretty simple, right? Well, that's about all the story you're gonna get for this game. That's it. Notice how I didn't mention the Master Sword being required to get? That's because it's not required to get. You can completely skip the Master Sword, although you're an idiot if you do, because it is the only weapon in the game that does not break. If you do decide to go for the Master Sword, you aren't even able to get it right away. You need to have at least 13 hearts in order to claim the legendary sword. If you have less than 13 hearts, then Link would just kneel over and die. You can beat the game without the Master Sword. You can even beat the game without the Divine Beasts. If you want, you can just go and fight Ganon as soon as you leave the plateau. It's up to you, honestly. Fun fact, the world record for beating the game is under 25 minutes. Here's this screenshot from speedrun.com. Another thing, this game is so big and expansive that even after 5 years of the game being out, people are still finding new stuff in the game. Name another game that you know that can do that. This game is absolutely massive. I can walk in a straight line for like an hour and only get through like half of the map. Like, it's insane. After the game had been out for a while, it got DLCs. 2 in fact. The first one brought the Master Mode, Trial of the Sword, and many quality of life changes. The second DLC brought a whole new dungeon, a new story, and a goddamn motorcycle. Breath of the Wild sold so well that it is the fourth best selling Switch game as of 2022, and it has got its own spin off game, The Legend of Zelda Age of Calamity, where it's spoilers, an alternate timeline where they stop the calamity from happening in the first place. Then, in 2019, Breath of the Wild 2 got announced and is slated for whenever it wants to come out. It's been 3 years since it got revealed, and we've only gotten one trailer since then. Hopefully we get something soon. By the looks of things, it'll be another 5 years until we get Breath of the Wild 2. Update. When I wrote this, there was one trailer, but Nintendo updated a new trailer 3 days after I wrote that. Update again! During the making of this video, the newest Nintendo Direct that took place on 9-13-2022 showed off the release date for the second game and gave it a title as well. So there's that. Hopefully, we get more Zelda games in the meanwhile. Nintendo, please make a Spirit Tracks remake. Please. Or release Advance Wars Remake? Or give me my Xenoblade 3 Special Edition stuff? Or maybe a new Pokemon Mystery Dungeon game? Please. Any one of those. While we all eagerly wait for Breath of the Wild 2, there are several other games that we can all play while waiting. Like literally any other video game.